So first and foremost, I want to extend my condolences to the family and friends of Manuel Terán, who went by the alias Tortuguita in Atlanta. I was thinking a lot about their alias, Tortuguita, which means little turtle. I read that they chose this name as a nod to the colonial era indigenous military commander of the same name. Michiquaniqua, Little Turtle, was chief of the Miami tribe in 1791. He led an army of over 1,000 Miami, Shawnee, and Delaware forces to one of their most decisive victories against the U.S. armed forces as they tried to conquer their tribal lands in what is today's Indiana. Because of the breadth of skill, strategy, and strength of these people who knew their land and their forests best, hundreds of soldiers from the U.S. militia's camp fled. The artillery's potential firepower was never utilized as the artillerymen fell dead around their cannons, cut down by Little Turtle's warriors. This was not the first time these tribes had defeated U.S. forces, but this defeat was so powerful, so detrimental, it led to a complete overhaul and reformation of the United States forces into what is now the United States Army. According to the article I read, Tortuguita was reluctant to have this information publicized because, quote, "That does not make us look like peaceful protesters. We are very peaceful people, I promise." Tortuguita was then shot and killed January 18th. As we all stand here today in solidarity with Atlanta and all the environmental justice fights across the country, I think about this battle that entailed a solidarity of tribal forces and the solidarity it will take locally, nationally, and globally to win against oppressive imperial forces continuing to decimate our people and land. My mother is from Puerto Rico, a current colony of the United States, and my father is from Bolivia with Brazilian lineage. Both sides of my family have deep roots of resilient indigenous and black peoples, and when I think about the paralleled experiences of brutalized colonialism of my family's lands to the ones here, I'm also reminded of the rebellions and revolutions that have won because of solidarity, much like that of Chief Little Turtle. These battles are not only won, they're never forgiven. These global North capitalists continue a genocide on racialized and poor people, making that message clear. They still have not let Haiti forget their revolution. They still have not let Cuba forget their revolution. But the lesson here is not that they will never let you win. The lesson here is what solidarity can do for our movements and the way in which it prevails. Many of us are so busy and exhausted with surviving, but we can build our capacity by joining forces, building relationships, bridging into coalition. They will not let up because we are exhausted. We will also not accomplish liberation in isolated fights. Chief Little Turtle understood this and won. Tortuguita understood this with their allies in the forest who continue to fight. The poor, working class, and indigenous and black-led uprisings in the global south understand this and are currently winning. Brown, black, indigenous people are currently taking back power all over the global south, kicking out oppressive classist and racist governments, breaking their ties to the global north, who put those governments there in the first place. We are seeing a monumental shift like no other. We can build our capacity with solidarity, and I hope to, because modernization hasn't saved anybody. Instead, our world is on fire. Instead, in the year 2023, we still have over 500,000 of unhoused people and starvation in the richest country in the world. Air pollution, as it improves for affluent regions and people in the Twin Cities, still kills over 1,500 people, 16 times more than homicides. So I ask the city and all the technocrats and people who trust the city and the experts, how can that be if modernization in our government serves the people? I challenge those people to really think about the research and histories of environmental justice and sacrifice zones in this country and abroad, and then come back and still say they trust when the city says demolition of the roof depot over a Superfund site of arsenic and expansion of its public works facilities, adding hundreds of more parking spaces for more diesel trucks won't add a hint of pollution. In East Palestine, Ohio, after a major toxic spill from a train derailment, the EPA still says the air, water, and land is safe while residents are stepping outside to dead animals all over their yards. I beg of people to trust the only experts that matter, the people who are living and breathing evidence of their circumstances. I will continue fighting with the most oppressed peoples, and I hope we can all build solidarity amongst our fights. It is the only path to peace and self-determination, so we are no longer just surviving, but living. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause.